You want to have an idea on how to make the most out of the preseason and the first week, and that makes two of us. I'm King Reliant, and what we're going to do is we're going to discuss how we can get you ahead of the 1%. And if you haven't already and you're interested, go ahead and give this video a watch. I go over the 5 reasons why you should be hyped for Cycle Frontier, and I do cover some points in there that you might also find very informative. And thank you guys again for the support. Let's get into the video. I want to talk about something really important that a good friend of mine that I actually play with frequently brought up to me, and that's morale. And this is absolutely going to be one of the things that will get you ahead of the 1%. Morale has a lot to do with how you are in your mental state when you are playing these games. I know it seems kind of weird, but the title of the video is to get ahead of the 1%, meaning we're talking about competing against the best of the best. And one of the biggest things with anyone who's super competitive and very good at what they're doing is they have a very good positive mindset. The biggest thing that I can tell you right now is everyone is going to take a hit. You're going to lose your gear. You're going to lose your stuff. Something is going to happen. You're going to either die to a bug, you're going to die to a monster, something on a mission is going to go wrong and it's going to get you, or a player is just going to outplay you and you're going to lose. It happens. It's the nature of the game and it's going to be inevitable. So you want to be prepared for that mentally, so that way when that happens, you're able to just run it back, go back into Fortuna 3 and just keep that momentum going so you can bounce back. Otherwise, you're going to get in your own head. That same friend actually sent me a video that had a really good quote in it from the story of an old esports player in CSGO. Here's that quote in a quick clip.
You have to have like that complete and utter arrogance, right? You have to know without a shadow of a doubt that you are the best person on that server and that whatever your will is, it will happen, right?
What he's really meaning by this is when you are in that mode and you're in the match, know that you are the best person on that server. You know that in your head, you know that to your core, nobody is better than you. So arrogance really is the right word to use. Now, this doesn't mean when you get out of the match, you are toxic and cocky and all these things. It's just part of competitive nature. Now, being in that mindset is going to give you the best possible situation to where when you go into that match, you have a very good chance of winning, because mentality is absolutely everything. So just to recap, keep your positivity. If you need to take a beat and come back to it later, but don't take multiple breaks before running it back and going back into the match. You want to keep your momentum going and strong and just accept the fact that you can lose your stuff. But as the old saying goes, remember, fortune favors the bold. So let's go ahead and go into the mechanical side of things that you can actually do in the game that will help you get that little edge as well. First and foremost, we have 3 factions, right? You're going to have some options. You got to think about what you're going to go with. Go with Osiris. Not all the way through unless you want to, but go with Osiris to get the mana core and green combat stems. This you really want to make a priority. You're going to be able to have a very strong weapon that can do well against purples, and with the changes to lower tier gear competing against higher end armor, I do anticipate the mana core to be really strong. On top of that, you also get the green combat stems that you can now buy. You don't want to be going in there with the regular common combat stems because they're pretty bad, and having the green ones do make quite a bit of difference. Definitely focus on Osiris, get the mana core, get the combat stems, and then move on to the fact that you would like to go. Next thing, we're going to talk about the missions. Recently in the dev blog post for the live launch of the game, they said that missions got a pretty decent buff to them and they're going to have more of an importance. Personally, I'm a big fan of this. I like the fact that we can have a threat of PvP in anything that we're doing that is PvE, whether it be an environment or whether it be quests or whether it be just all around content. I like having that mixed in there, and I think this does it well. However, with that buff, missions are now very important. And if you want to get ahead, I would 100% recommend focus on those missions. I know a lot of people are going to want to go in and just hunt players. And look, that time will come. But a lot of players that are going to be those top end hunters are going to be focusing these missions so that way they can unlock a variety of weapons and attachments and resources that they have at their disposal so they can come in with the absolute best gear to have that competitive edge. Do not ignore the missions, especially the first couple of weeks and during preseason. I really recommend you also make that a top priority. If you do this, this will be very advantageous for you going forward. Now, the stash size. Stash size is something that I think a lot of people already know, but I do want to include it in this video. You want to get your stash size increased as soon as possible. And I'm talking about what's been commonly known in the Cycle community, I think, as the prison wallet now. The lock stash that you have a part of your inventory when you go into Fortuna 3, and your stash that you have for basically, we'll call it your bank when you're in your space hub. Don't ignore those, increase those up, especially because the amount of stuff that you will get. Inventory is going to be a really big deal and you're going to max out on it pretty quickly. So you want to get that stash size up as quick as possible. Now going into some of the little advantages, our good friends over at Cycle Database have created a wonderful website, which includes a map for you to be able to use while you play the game. I think this is huge. It also helps you out with quests, missions, crafting stuff as well. Definitely want to use this, because if you're not using the resources that you have available to you, you're just not using your time efficiently. People are going to be using every resource available. So don't ignore cycledatabase.com. I'll put a link down in the description below. They've created a wonderful asset for us to use, so you're going to want to check that out. So wrapped up in a quick bow, this is basically going to be everything that I'm going to be personally doing, and me and my friends, when the game goes live. So I highly recommend you doing the same if, again, you want to get that advantage. Thank you so much, guys. Keep an eye out. We're going to be releasing some more videos, especially some helpful guides for some beginners and some intro stuff for launch. Keep an eye out for that. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and share this with a friend. Thank you guys so very much again. And as always, stay shiny.